Yeah, good evening, everybody. It's really, for me, I don't know if we should talk of a pleasure or anything like that, but it's very relevant to see you in such a big number tonight. Because one of the discussions we had with His Excellency the Ambassador when we started this, because I'm also a member of the committee which organized this event, is how many people are going to come. Then we had only two references. One is those who attended the last year commemoration and those who come to the end of the year party. So we bet if we could have the same people who come for the party and have the same number coming to listen to such important issues as genocide. So that being said, and thank you for introducing me, I think I used to start my presentation by the best credentials which I think are relevant for what I'm going to say. So as he said, I'm a survivor, but I'm a survivor who spent 100 days at Hotel Rwanda, for those who saw the movie. But before that, I also survived so many past events or events before the genocide. So my talk tonight will be based on that continuum. And if I had to teach denial, if I had to teach genocide, what would I teach to young generations? What would I teach to young Rwandans who should fight for never again in Rwanda and worldwide? So I try to look at the models of genocide, what we use in academia. I try to move as much as I can out of the ivory tower to make things easy to understand for everybody. So I also discuss classification of denials. I'll show how to take action, because one of the main objectives, again, is to see if such atrocities can't be repeated again and again. And we have, is in a normal classroom, a kind of summary of learnings. So if I had to teach again, I would look at the models. We have so many models for ethnic conflicts, and some models can help us understand what happened really in Rwanda, because one of the biggest questions is how can an ordinary people, how can ordinary human beings kill their neighbors, their wives, their godfathers? How can students kill their professors? How can we kill our doctors, our nurses? How can we kill all those people who are saving us? So there are so many models. There's a social matching game model where we have distinct information asymmetries and sparing violence. So we don't have enough information on our neighbor. We think he's going to take over. We think he's going to fight for taking our land. We don't have enough information. We have also the historical explanation. If you look at Prunier, you look at Marchand, you look at all those European scholars who wrote about the Great Lakes region, they are basing their research and understanding, they are trying to explain what happened using the historical events before that. And some of them are distorted, of course. Some of them are not grounded in real research frameworks. So there are also the episode models by Balvani. There are the propensity with high or low trust within a society. I no longer trust my neighbor. I don't trust Tutsi. I don't trust Hutu. So that's also a source of conflict. So we have also the violence without moral restraint. We have Daniel Johnson, eliminationist theory. We have the anti-Semitism theory. We have the hatred of Jews, which was so deep and so widespread, so pervasive, and so violent that harassing, killing Jews was a normal step to take. We have also, and what I would recommend, because I'm teaching a class, what I would recommend, the model I love the most, the one I think explain what really happened, is the 8 steps model by Gregory Stanton, who's a professor. He used to be at William and Mary College, and he's the president. James Orr, you know him? Yeah. And that model is a kind of summary, a kind of wrap-up of what people have been telling you today. So everything starts by the classification, when we start giving ID cards in the early 30s, when Belgium introduced the Hutu Tutsi. Then you have symbolization. You attach symbols to that classification. You are tall, you are Tutsi, you have so many cows. Then you have the humanization and crocs. You are snakes, you are devil. We have been listening to this all day long. So you have organization. You start promoting impunity. Those people who killed their neighbors in 1959, as Dr. Gakuba said, Dr. Kakuba left the country, but those who killed the people in 19 were promoted. They were mayors, they were members of parliament, they were ministers. So when you start organizing the society, when you start promoting that type of impunity, when you start organizing the militia, when you start the small-scale killings, then you reach another step, which is the polarization, when you start dividing the society into two blocks. We had, before the genocide, we had the so-called Hutu power. Even Hutu themselves managed to divide the Hutu group into two, Hutu power and moderate Hutus. So in addition to the Tutsi, Hutu, and Twa, which we had from the past. And then you have the preparation of final solution. We have the tools. We started telling the radio. We started promoting hate on the radio. We started training the militia. In 1990, they started training the militia. And then we have the extermination, where we had 1 million, roughly 1 million people killed. But today's presentation, what I'm teaching is the last stage, the denial stage. So I'm going to try to open this box and see what is inside. And summarizing what people said before me, I'll be using arguments put forward by Dr. Gallimore, the two Gallimores. I'll be using arguments from James Waugh. I'll be using Smith's statement. I'll be using all those people to make sure that in a normal setting, if we had to teach this, what would the student learn? What would the audience keep in mind? So I'll be focusing on denial techniques. So the following slide are adapted from a presentation by Douglas Stanton, Gerard Kaplan, and Israel Shani. So I had to read so many things, but basically those are the texts I'm using the most in my following slides. So deny the evidence, or everything starts by denying the evidence. So most political opponents today, those who are opposing the government of Rwanda, they won't oppose the government of Rwanda because of economics, social, education. They will be opposing the fact of genocide didn't happen because they are promoting a kind of agenda. So those most political opponents use this argument. There is also the double genocide story. Those people who are subscribing to double genocide will use the numbers of survivors compared to the number of collateral victims. We have also the block access to archives, the witness. The ICTR team can tell you more about this. People going to ICTR, there are so many blocks, there are so many barriers to be able to go as a witness. You have also intimidating, key eyewitnesses. ICTR, threat to witness is... So we have denial by the evidence. Deny the evidence, you have to destroy the evidence. So most of us had to bribe the militia to discover how our fathers, mothers, sisters, and brothers were killed, where they were from. So they started denying that evidence. If I give you an example, a personal example, I'm sorry for that. This is, I got married 2 or 3 years before the genocide, and I'm glad to see the godmother actually is in the room, and she can testify, she's a witness to that. This is from my family. Only 2 persons survived. And I know only where my father was killed. For the rest of the victims, I still need to bribe the militia, the killers. And I spent 6 years in Rwanda bribing, even employing them in my company. And nobody is ready to tell me how and when they will kill them. And all those people, you see, they passed away. You have my sister, my brother, so denying the evidence. I spent 6 years with people who killed them, and nobody is ready to tell me when, how, and where to find the rest, where to find the bones in order to bury them decently. So, denial. We have also the technique of attacking the truth tellers. So, Bikumbi, I don't know if it is Bikumbi, the guy who used to hear the famous songs on the radio Rwanda, when he said, Nanga Bahutu, na Kangura, the 10 Commandments, sorry for the misspelling, all those discourse, all those songs, the motives, the truth tellers say they are to be opposed because of the religion, because you attack the truth tellers. Nanga Bahutu, babandi bashigikira Batutsi. So those Hutu who are supporting Tutsi, I even hate them. So we reached that stage of dividing even the Hutu into the bad and the good Hutus. So we have also denied the genocide intent. So those who are subscribing to these techniques, they claim that the deaths were inadvertent. We couldn't, because when we are questioning most of the mayors before the genocide or during the genocide, they say, oh, who is the son of that person? He was killed. But, oh, he joined the RPF. He migrated. He went out of the country. We have also those who are blaming the deaths of an ancient 18 conflicts. Oh, see all the justification based on Habyarimana plane crash. We are blaming the kid. They are blaming the victims because the president was shot down and we had to kill them. Anyway, so we have also denied the blame of the victims. We have the entire denial discourse, which is based on this. We have the denial for current interest. Those who are the permanent debate we have today on truth and reconciliation. Oh, we want a truth and reconciliation commission. We want this and this because you are denying because of your interest, your self-interest, your self-political interest. So deny the facts also, even if they fit legally in the definition of genocide. So you start using crime against humanity, not genocide, you start using semantics like Rwandan genocide, which is for us not accurate actually because it's a genocide against Tutsi. And I wish people in this audience could leave the room tonight with a commitment to use genocide against Tutsi because it was perpetrated against Tutsi. So Rwandan genocide, it's not a genocide, it's for everybody, it's for all the Rwandans. So all the saga around the recognition of genocide against the Tutsi at all levels, at the State Department, the UN, we had also that part of denial because denial is not only after, it's before, it's during, it's even after. So, and we have the categories of denial. So to sum up, we have denial by perpetrators, we have denial by non-perpetrators. We have denials in the service of personal or collective interest of power. We have innocent denials, which we need to address as well, because those people who have limited knowledge, the people who don't want to open their mind, the people who don't want to listen to survivors, people who want to open Immaculate's book, people who won't be able to read and make their own judgment. We have also the manipulation and lying through seeming innocent denials. So we have to put everything together, a classification which is proposed by Israel Sharni. So we denial based on excluding cases from being defined as genocide. We deny also when the basis for when we are minimizing the sufferings, the number of victims. We deny the significance of the genocide of another people. And this is also a trend in the literature because most of authors who are denying the magnitude and the size and the consequence of the genocide against Tutsi, we compare it to the Holocaust and say, oh, it's not the same size as the Holocaust. You are denying because you are minimizing. We deny also for significance of genocide of another people. So we are denying deriving of routinization because, oh, it's normal. This is for a French president. Oh, those people used to kill each other. So this is, it's something new. We also need to take action. If we need to take action, we need to move from a passive to aggressive strategies. That's actually what we are doing in this type of commemoration because not only we are survivors, but we need also to learn and make sure that the rest of the world can learn from us so that this never again becomes more than a slogan. So we need to adjust our responses. We need to coordinate from the papyrus to hypertext because nothing was written before. We need to write today. We need to put everything online. We need to be able to use technology. We need, in this committee, I had really a great pleasure to work with wonderful people. We exchanged 2,000 emails to be able to put together this event. So I think that generation is an asset for us. And working with them, for me, most of them I would be their father. And it was really a good, and we need to coordinate. We need to use cloud computing for even what we do here. We need to revisit our own discourse, genocide against Tutsi. I was writing in one of the forums recently that this kind of, we are pleased to invite you to a commemoration. We shouldn't be pleased to invite you to a commemoration. So we need to create communities of knowledge production. And I've been talking to the ambassador days and days. Every time I call him, I'm harassing him, and he should file a complaint for that. Please take this message to Kigali. We need to build community of knowledge. We need to do kind of post-production whenever we meet. We need to put everything online in writing. We don't need to repeat. We don't need to repeat the past errors. We need to be able to be proactive, create community of knowledge. Now, I started by saying, okay, fine, if I had to teach, and then I told you that the best model for me is the 8-stage model. But there are additional models we can use. Genocide studies, for me, is a kind of transdisciplinary. It's cross-disciplinary. We have heard wonderful pieces of work from linguistics, from literature, we need to go beyond. We need to go to sociology, psychology. We need to borrow additional conceptual framework in order to, for example, if we go to psychology, you have the theory of resonant action. Why did people kill? Is it a resonant action in the spirit of the theory put forward by Fishman in Israel? Was it something planned? Can we find an explanation within the theory of planned behavior when it comes time to motivation of killing? Can we use the innovation deficient theory from sociology when we take the idea of killing as a new idea, when the promoters put forward a new idea of killing people, it's an innovation of doing, how do they carry out that spirit? How do they implement the idea of killing 1 million people? We can even use technology models where we basically adopt the technology because it's easy to use, because it's useful. Killing was easy because you were killing innocent people, unarmed people. They had no guns, they had nothing to defend, so it was very easy. But it's not a sufficient condition. It has to be profitable. It has to be useful for you, because the cycle of impunity, when you kill a Tutsi, you take his home. You kill a Tutsi, you take his cows, and you are promoted. So it was easy to kill, but it was also useful. So those models from technology can also help us understand the behavior of the person who were killing, those behaviors which we fail to understand today because we don't know how people were so motivated at such a big scale. So in extension of time, so contention models also, we have medical science, we have the Birdie organ effect, where people just kill for, when it's a popular to kill, we have also probabilistic models. We need more and more quantitative models, especially to fight double genocide theory, because we need to show the data, we not show statistics. So again, some easy action which can be taken, especially to younger generation, systematic reviews of books. Whenever a book is published, make sure that you review it and you publish a review. Scientific papers, whenever there is any publication, be ready to challenge it and speak out. Use your status as a survivor. Use your status of witness. Go against, speak out, write taxonomies. We fail to understand what is denial, the motivation. Why do people make a bibliometric analysis? Those are easy things to write. Meta-analysis, put together all the findings and try to find out who is writing what, why, and what type of findings he reached in his research. More qualitative inquiries, talking to people, to survivors, recording, writing their stories, so that we may reach the 20th commemoration with something published. I wish to the team I had the pleasure to work with that for the coming 2 or 3 commemorations, Jacqueline would be standing here. She is the author of this. Stephanie will be standing here as an author of this piece of art. Yvette would be standing here as the author of this and this. So I wish you could embark on this. It's very easy, and if I had designed a roadmap, I would use the same roadmap I use for my PhD students. It's basically the same story. When you start a PhD, the basic question, what is your topic? How do you frame your topic? So, genocide denial. Who are the authors? What are their names? Their first name, the numbers of authors, the journal in which they publish, the country they studied. Is it Australia? Is it Rwanda? Is it Bosnia? Holocaust? The conceptual frameworks they use. Is it grounded in real theory? What are the definitions? What are the theory they use? The area of study, is it from sociology, psychology, literature, linguistics? We had a wonderful presentation on linguistics. I never knew that rape could be studied from the linguistics perspective and explain how people behave in genocide. So we need to be transdisciplinary. What type of discipline is being used? What type of methodology people are using? What is qualitative interviews? We need to conduct surveys. We need to be effective. We need to be proactive. We need to raise our finger and point out to the theory building. And we need to build that community of knowledge. We need to make sure that what we suffered and what we experienced in Rwanda can be useful not only to us, but to the rest of the community, to the rest of the world. And thank you.